Hello, I'm Mrs Summerhayes from Stifford Clays Primary School, and this video will be going through how we convert units from millimetres to centimetres, from centimetres to metres and metres to kilometres and vice versa. I really do hope that this video is useful. Okay, first of all I have a memory box which helps me break down the key units that we will be using in this video. So in my memory box I have 1 kilometre, which is the equivalent to 1,000 metres. I have 1 metre, which is the equivalent of 100 centimetres, and 1 centimetre, which is the equivalent of 10 millimetres. Now, a lot of you will be able to do these calculations in your head. I'm a visual learner, and I do know that a lot of you appreciate having a diagram to use. So I'm going to go through a process and a model that you can all use to help us calculate these below conversions. So, first of all, you will draw 4 small boxes from left to right. From the left we start with our smallest units, millimetres, to centimetres, to metres, and then kilometres. And those will be the units that we are looking at today. Now, first of all, I'm going to go through how this diagram works. So, with my blue pen, we're going to look at how we convert millimetres to centimetres. And we do that by dividing by 10. We then look at centimetres and how we can convert them to metres, and we do that by dividing by 100. Next we look at metres to kilometres, and to get from metres to kilometres we divide by 1,000. Now I'm going to switch colours now to red, and we're now going to go from the larger units to our smallest units. So from kilometres to metres we times by 1,000. From metres to centimetres we times by 100, and from centimetres to millimetres we times by 10. Now, whilst we were doing that diagram, there is a pattern that we should have noticed, and it's this pattern that will help us convert the below units. So, first of all, what you've probably noticed, when we're going from small to bigger units, we divide. Okay. When we are going from bigger units to smaller units, so from here, we multiply. So as long as we have that process and that model, we now are able to work with these conversions below. So let's start with the first one. I have got 12 centimetres and we need to put it into millimetres. Now the first thing I do is I underline my units, and I can clearly see that I'm going from centimetres to millimetres. So I'm starting from here, I'm going to millimetres, so I'm timesing by 10. Big to small we multiply. So I put my times 10 above, so 12 times 10 is 120. So 12 centimetres converted to millimetres would be 120. Let's do the next one. We've been given 5 metres and we need to convert to centimetres. So once again, I look at my units, I can see I need to go from metres to centimetres, and we can see that to do that I also need to times by 100. So I'll put my times 100 above. So 5 times 100 will give me 500. So 5 metres converted into centimetres would give me 500 centimetres. Next one. We've got 7.3 centimetres, and I can probably detect there's a few grumbles because there's a decimal there, but we should never be afraid of decimals. We will treat it exactly the same using our model, and I will tell you how we need to alter it at the end. So we have 7.3 centimetres to convert to millimetres. So I underline my units. I'm going from centimetres to millimetres, which means I have to times by 10. Now, with the decimal, what we need to be aware of, at Stifford Clays, we use place value, and there's a method to our place value. When we are timesing by 10, 100 or 1,000, we need to shift the whole number to the left. To the left, to the left. Those who are in my maths set will know I love Beyonce, and when I sing that, we need to go to the left. We need to go to the left one space because we have 1 0. So if we can see here, the 7 would go this way, one space, the 3 would shift over. So our answer would then be 73 millimetres. So 7.3 centimetres converted to millimetres would give us 73. Next one, we have 8.45 kilometres, and we need to convert to metres. We're going from big to small. We multiply, starting with kilometres, we need to go to metres, we need to times by 1,000. So I will times by 1,000 here. And as I've said before, we're going to the left, and we need to go 3 spaces to the left because we have 3 zeros. So if you can imagine the 5, 1, 2, 3, the whole number shifts 3 places. So our answer will be 8,450 metres. The next one is trickier, and we need to think of it in a slightly different way to the ones we've covered before. We have 25 metres, and we need to get to millimetres. So metres to millimetres. Now you can see there's clearly a bigger gap than the ones that we have covered before. So we need to do this in 2 steps, a slightly different approach. We can't just skip the centimetres, we have to go through to centimetres before we can convert to millimetres. So, step 1, we need to get to centimetres first. We have 25 times by 100, very simple place value. Our answer then is 2,500. So we've got our centimetres, but clearly we need to get to millimetres. So, step 2, obviously we now are converting, to millimetres. We take our answer from before, because we've got our centimetres, 2,500. We then need to multiply that by 10. Again, simple place value. We need to obviously be shifting our zeros, and very clearly our answer is 25,000. So unlike the others, when we're faced with this type of conversion, we need to make sure that we are going through 2 steps. So with that question, we had to go 2 steps. We couldn't just avoid the centimetres. We had to go to convert to centimetres first before we could convert to millimetres. So, bigger numbers go into small, we multiply. When we've got smaller numbers and we want to go bigger, convert into bigger units, we divide. Next, we will be looking at changing and converting units from smaller to bigger units. So a quick reminder of our model and our diagram. Last time we looked at changing units that were bigger to smaller where we multiply. This time we're going to be concentrating on the top arcs because we are going from small to big, which means we are dividing. So let's look at the first one. We have 250 centimetres and we need to convert that to metres. So I underline my units. I can see I'm going from centimetres, I'm going to metres, which means I need to divide by 100 because I'm going from small to bigger. So I will put divide by 100 here. And again, we look at these like they're place value questions. So imagine your decimal point would be here. If we are making a number smaller, we're dividing, and when we're dividing by 10, 100 or 1000, we're shifting the whole number to the right. So those are my maths that will know we slide to the right. So you can imagine if we take the 2 here, 1, 2, we're shifting it 2 places. Our answer then would be 2.5 metres. So 250 centimetres converted to metres would be 2.5. Let's do the next one. We have 72 centimetres and we need to convert that to metres. I'll underline my key parts of my question. Centimetres to metres, I'm dividing by 100 because I'm going from small to big, we divide. So I'll divide by 100 there. Again, think of your decimal point would be at the end of the number. I need to go 2 places to the right because I have 2 zeros. So slide to the right, 1, 2. So my answer would be 0.72 because the 7 has shifted to the right past the decimal and I put a 0 at the beginning. My next number is 21,000 metres, so we shouldn't be scared when the numbers get bigger. So 21,000 metres, we need to convert to kilometres, so I underline my units. I can see I'm going from metres to kilometres, which means I need to divide by 1,000. Here we go. Place value then, imagine your decimals at the end of the number. The number at the beginning has to shift 3 times, slide to the right. So our 2 shifts over and 1 shifts over. So our answer then is then 21 kilometres. Now a very cheeky tip here is what we could have done also is just cancel out the zeros, which would have left me 21, but that's very, very cheeky. Next one, we have 71 millimetres and we need to get to metres. So I'm going to underline my units here and you can see we're going from millimetres there all the way to metres. That should tell you that we've got a unit in between, which means we're going to have to do 2 steps before we can convert to our metres. So the first step we need to do is convert our millimetres to centimetres first. We do that by dividing 71 divided by 10, which is 7.1. So we can slide to the right 1 place, as we know. So we've now got our centimetres. Now we need to go from centimetres to metres. So to do that, we have step 2. We have 7.1 divide by 100. Again, we have to shift this number 2 places to the right. We shift the whole number. So our answer is 0.071 metres. So again, you must remember, if you've got millimetres to metres, we have to convert to centimetres first before we can move on to our metres. Our last one is 22,000 centimetres. You shouldn't be worried about the numbers getting bigger, because as long as you've got this model and process, it's easily done. So we've got 22,000 centimetres. We need to convert those to kilometres. So I look at my model, I have centimetres, I need to get all the way to kilometres. I hear some of you already say we've got metres in between, which means it's a two-step approach. So step one, we need to convert our centimetres to metres. So that would be 22,000. We then need to divide by 100, which would give us 220. Again, cheekily, I can just cancel out the zeros, or you can do it as a place value and shift the number to the right. That now gives me my metres, but obviously I now need to get to kilometres. So with this figure, I will then do 220 divided by, has to be 1,000, because we're going to kilometres. And our final answer then will be 0.22 kilometres, because if we imagine that number, we shift it 3 places to the right, and then we've then got 0.22 kilometres. I sincerely hope that you have found the video useful today. I miss you all, especially my Class 6S. We will meet again soon. Please take care of all your families and stay safe. Bye.